I know you're out there! Go! I'll get your six!
Okay.
Righto guys, I've just got to throw this out there. How much of a breath of fresh air is it to watch something like John Carpenter's The Thing, given the absolute woke Marxist bullshit infiltration of movies these days? How good is it just to watch something like The Thing? Not a single clam in sight. No girl boss dick punching. No incompetent male characters. No gay characters. No gay sex scenes. No gay kissing. No actual sex scene. I consider regular sex scenes in movies and hypersexualization in movies to be another piece of infiltration by feminist narcissist Marxists. But, oh, how good is it? It just straight off the bat jumps right in with the score. Oh man, it's great that movie will be around forever, and they will probably never be able to get rid of it. Even though they try to get you addicted to Netflix and then for some reason allow a movie of that caliber to lapse in the subscription service part of it. Even though they do that, and if you don't have it, the original on DVD, it is so easy to buy it on eBay and stuff like that. And there's so many copies of it, it's just going to be around forever. Doesn't matter what they do with the sequels. It doesn't matter that they tried to, girl boss up a weird prequel that, wasn't that good. Like, it wasn't heaps bad, but it definitely had, you know, Marxist social conditioning shit in it. But just how good is it? Like, just everything, even the characters, even the introduction of McCready. He's getting his ass kicked by the chess machine and he gets the shits, and he pragmatically destroys the chess machine by pouring his drink into it. Like, it's just brilliant character. I'm so glad it exists. I'm so glad it's not going anywhere. But like, and even how the movie doesn't hold your hand, and even how it's left largely ambiguous. Like, a ton of people claim that by the end of the movie, McCready is the thing, because his breath isn't misting. But if you stay out in the cold for ages, not McCready, sorry, the other dude, Keith David, his breath isn't misting. If you stay out in the cold for ages and ages, your breath will stop misting. Just because your core temperature in your lungs and your body gets colder. So that doesn't necessarily mark him for a thing. They might just both be people and both be paranoid, but that's the beauty of the movie. It doesn't tell you.
I'm gonna find you.
And it's always interesting, like, how quickly does Blair get got by the thing? Like, we don't know. Was he already the thing when he flipped out in the control room and destroyed all the communications and then was subsequently isolated? Was he the thing from the start and the thing was just, like, clever enough to isolate itself so it could attempt to build its, you know, spaceship again? Like, who did it get first? Like, that silhouette looks an awful lot like Norris, but it might have been Palmer that it got first. But that's the beauty of the movie, you just don't quite know. And it's, like, never explained at all. And it's never explained if McCready or Childs is the thing at the end. It's just, it's an awesome movie. And, like, even the action in it with the flamethrowers and everything. Oh, chef's kiss. And the big friggin' horrible monsters that were, like, all puppets. But, like, yeah, it's just awesome movie. But, like, like, they did try to corrupt it with the remake. I mean, the remake's just, you know, it's all CGI. Now it has a girl boss leader for some reason, because apparently she's the most level-headed of a bunch of men. And of course it's her that discovers, oh, it can't replicate fillings and all this sort of shit. But, like, you can't take away from the original. There's a reason why the remake was not as well received as the original. Like, it just strikes me as a bit of, you know, a bit of female narcissism that they had to have the girl character be the one that discovers the method. It couldn't have been, like, you know, the character that was performing the autopsies. Like, in the original, it would have been, you know, someone like Blair or the original character performing the autopsies, noticing that organic material can't be, like, replicated. It wouldn't be like the clam for some reason, just because, you know, the clam has to be important. She has to be a Mary Sue. Like, it's just complete bullshit, and it takes away from the story, and the more you notice it, the more it'll start ruining stories for you. Like, does she have to be written to be all-powerful? Like, it would have added so much to the execution of the movie, to the credibility of the movie, to its grounding, had it been, like, another character who discovered it. But, like, the other characters, they're just written to be there. They don't do anything except pretty much die. It's just complete complete nonsense. But yeah, like another good thing about the original, like what happened with Fuchs? They find his like glasses in the snow and his burnt body. Did one of the things just burn him alive with a flamethrower? Or did like one of the other people like flip out and think he was the thing, burn him alive, and then just like never talk about it because they were like ashamed? Like you don't know. It's just cool. It just adds like those little things in there that truly ground it, despite it having like a pretty out there premise of like a organism that can copy you down to your memories. Like that's like virtually impossible, but it grounds it in the premise and it doesn't explain it, and it grounds it enough that you buy it and you don't even like second guess it. And just, do you guys remember how good it was when they go to the other camp and the other camp's just completely destroyed and they're just like looking around, like finding shit there, and there's just like a random axe in the wall, one dude's gone mad and killed himself, like the camp's blown apart and frozen, and then they just eventually stumble across like the thing with its like melted deformed face in the snow and it's like insect legs and shit. Like how good is that? Just the execution of that, not explained, has the confidence to do it slow. That's just absolutely awesome. Like just the execution of that, and it feels like it has that lineage. You know all the old written audiobooks and like 70s, 80s and 90s like science fiction, pulp science fiction. It just feels like an extension of that. It feels like the inheritor to all of that cool fiction, the cool horror science fiction. Like none of the characters are stupid. None of them are like Mary Sue's. None of them are trying to get some sort of, stupid, narcissistic feminist or Marxist point across. There's like no social conditioning into it. Like everything is there for the story. And like you can really tell when you compare it to shit these days. It just, you can just tell. Like one of them is genuine and the other one is not. Like compare like the original to the remake. Well, the remake prequel. We should say prequel, but it's basically, attempting to modernize the original with, bullshit. Like just the standoff scenes in the prequel, the sequel prequel. How bloody melodramatic and god-awful are they? You don't buy them at all. And then at the end, of course it has to go back to its ship. And of course it has to have all the special effects and shit. And it's just not grounding itself. Like straight off the bat, their discovery of it, where they drive the snowcat thing into like the cavern and it like falls and it gets wedged in like this big like ice slide thing. Like could we have grounded that with like, that would have been so much better had they just stumbled across something weird and it had been grounded from the start. But no, they have to do something big and stupid and take you right out of the movie, right at the beginning of the movie. And then, of course, the ship at the end with all the special effects. Ugh. And it all looks like shit, and none of it makes sense. And they, like, all fall like, way too far. Like, they should break their legs the distance that they fall. And then, like, there's plot holes because it nicks her, and it's unclear that because it nicked her, if she's gonna be a thing or not. It's just a fucking mess. It's an absolute fucking mess. Like, and it has corrupted the name of the original, and it's like taken it for itself, and it's just wearing it like a fucking skin suit, and it's just not as good, and it's just trying to suckle at that lineage and that name, and it is just shit. Like, I don't know how much of it is deliberate Marxist, you know, corruption of original IPs in order to destroy cultural identity. Like, that feels like the push behind it to me. But, like, if they're trying to sell more movies and they're trying to use the name to sell more movies, it's still bad because the movies are bad. Like, you should put more effort into making a good movie, and then it'll have staying power and it'll just sell over years and years and years, right? But instead of doing that, they are just knocking up a cheap one with the name and just hoping it tricks people long enough to sell a ton really quickly, and that it's just gonna fall off. And that's like what psychopathic short-term strategy. Trick people, take advantage of people in the short term, get as much as you can from them as quickly as you can, and then move on to something else, move on to another IP. That's like psychopath strategy, like right there, but like in the arts. So it's either what? Feminist narcissist social conditioning with shitty Marxist ideas, or it's short-term psychopath strategy attempting to make money really quickly. Like, either of them are bad. Like, who controls the entertainment industry? We seem to have, like, just have, like, shit. Like, the real problem is, these days, especially after things like Game of Thrones, which was all about subverting expectations and structure have been so subverted these days that the stories have suffered. Like, even one of the more, what would you say, original areas of filmmaking these days are like indie horror movies. They're trying to do like weird shit in them. At least they're trying something new. But even they suffer because usually they have this presupposition in their head that they can't have a movie structure, like a traditional sort of semi-predictable but, you know, decent setup movie structure. They have this idea in the head that it needs to be subverted into something that's extremely unpredictable and not traditional. And because they've done that, the movies lack structure and they tend to be a little bit messy. And while they are original, they end up being, I'm not sure if you'd say unpleasant to watch, but significantly harder to watch than, say, an awesome original with brilliant setup. Say, like, one of the classics, like Alien or The Thing or Halloween. Like, the suspense isn't there because you're not following a structure, you're not following a narrative. So how do you know when you're supposed to have, like, proper suspense? If you know what I mean. So rather than have, like, a plan for the movie, for the characters to follow, you tend to have something significantly more shallow and superficial where things just happen to the characters, if you know what I mean. There's no plan to follow, there is no plan to solve the problem with what happens next. There's no sort of structural narrative to the movie. There's no clues as to what happens next in the movie. It tends to just be, especially in the horror genre, and which has, you know, semi-devolved into superficial, shallow torture porn a little bit. Not completely. There's still good movies out there, but it doesn't have that. It just tends to be horrible things happening to people. If you know what I mean. Like, there's no proper journey to the movie these days.
know you're out there! Now!
Find another angle!
By the desk! at the side! Go! I'll get your six!